Hello, hello, and welcome back to a new episode of Geekable, the geekiest show in this reality and the next. I'm your host, Anas Abdulhaq, joined by my good friend Nick, and we're here to discuss. Oh God, there's so much to get into this week. I mean, it's been a big week. We've had the Lanterns trailer, Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 is back, and we've got some rumors about Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Daredevil Season 2, and we've got some awesome comic book reveals that are coming from the Absolute Universe. So we're going to get all into it today. If you're a new listener, thank you for being here with us. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're streaming it. And, it helps us a lot. It helps us keep the show growing. And if you're a returning listener, thank you for being here again. This show couldn't be possible without you. And let's get into it. Nick, how have you been? How are you
Yeah,
feeling?
yeah, been good. I mean, we don't usually put out episodes this late, but it was all quiet on the Western Front here, it seemed, with news and updates and stuff. And as you know, I was busy the past couple days, so we were like, we'll put off the episode for a few days. So thank you for everybody's patience. Appreciate that. We don't normally put it out at this time. And then just the floodgates opened. We have a lot of stuff to discuss. Very well-rounded episode today with comic news, MCU, DCU. I think we got to start with, I almost want to call it like an elephant in the room, because you and I have thoughts on
Yeah.
this. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know exactly where I'm going, right? Exactly where I'm going. And it's probably the biggest piece of news we have. So, most shows would save it to the end to suck you in, to keep you going till the end. We're going to give it to you here first, okay, folks? The Lanterns trailer dropped.
Yeah.
And I guess dropped is kind of a way to kind of put it, actually, because I have thoughts. I would use the words, before I even get into it, I would use the words slightly concerned. I would
Mm-hmm.
use the words dull. I would use
Yeah.
the words cop show. That's it.
I would say I am whelmed. I'm very shocked that this is the direction that they're going with. It feels more True Detective than it feels like a superhero show. And I know they want to make it like a buddy cop dynamic, but I didn't expect it to be like literally a buddy cop show.
I know, and it's almost like it's no wonder they took the word green out of the Green Lantern title, because is it a
Right.
lot to ask for some Green Lantern in my Green Lantern show? I don't know. I don't.
Somebody tweeted that, and HBO Max responded with a picture of like from a still from the trailer that had a French fry basket that was green, and they said it's green right there. Do you not see?
Okay. I mean, look, maybe it's coming later. They're keeping this very, I don't know, maybe the CGI is not done yet, but in the first trailer that dropped, we saw Jon Stewart, we saw Hal
Yeah.
Jordan, we saw the ring, we saw the actual lantern, the physical lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I guess we saw the ring, but we didn't really see it in action. And listen, look, I appreciate the True Detective vibe that they're going for. Grounded, detective tone. I think it'll be awesome. I really do. And that's one of the things that propelled me to be interested in this show. But I do believe there's a line on us. I do believe there's a line. And Green Lantern is an outer space superhero. And
That's what I was gonna say.
right? And the Lanterns trailer barely showed anything sci-fi. Barely. One quick shot of Hal flying, one
Mm-hmm.
ring blast that was cut off immediately, and that's basically it. The suits barely there. Like I said, no glowing constructs, no big Green Lantern visuals. So if you removed those 2 or 3 or 4 moments, this would just look like a random cop show set in New Mexico, okay, with muted color schemes. And before I'm done ranting, look, we just had Superman and Peacemaker, and they proudly embraced comic book insanity, I would call it.
Yeah.
And Lanterns looks like it's almost allergic to it. And let's not forget, I and you too, I've known you a while, we both have spent about a decade absolutely clowning Ryan Reynolds' 2011 Green Lantern movie just for HBO's 2026 Lanterns to drop a trailer that looks like, again, it's allergic to the color green. So say what you will about the old movie, but at least it had color and embraced comic book silliness and fun. And I'm not here to compare a quick trailer to a full movie, but I am just saying, like I said, my preliminary, it's an elephant in the, we got to discuss it. I don't know. My points, am I resonating with you? What are your thoughts on this,
Listen,
please?
I don't think you can do a Green Lantern story justice if it's not high concept.
Yeah.
You gotta be cosmic. You gotta be in space. You gotta do the space cop dynamic. You gotta show the aliens. You gotta show the rings, the powers, the constructs, the abilities, the different, cores. We got none of that. And I know Sinestro is in the show. Like we've been, it's been confirmed that he's gonna be in the show,
Okay.
but there was like no indication that it's anything more than just a murder investigation and some, crime, whatever. I really felt like it was missing like the spark, I
Yeah.
didn't get any hope from watching the trailer. I was just watching and waiting for something to happen. And it felt like, yeah, they were almost embarrassed to be like, oh, this is a superhero show,
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
like one shot of the suit and it was like grimy and dirty. So maybe it's not like, the actual suit itself, but we got one shot of him flying and that's it. There was no more shown. And maybe they're trying to be coy. Maybe they're setting us up for something later down the line. But so far I'm whelmed. I'm going to watch it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah. I still have hope for it. I do. I still have hope. I just think bad showing from the start. You're whelmed. I'm underwhelmed. I think that's
yeah.
the underlying part
But
for
it's
me
like
here.
we've done Guy Gardner already in Superman. We've seen him with the constructs, with the green. So why are we shying away from that now? That's
Right.
what doesn't make sense to me,
Right. Like I said, buddy. Like I just said, Superman really embraced, the color blue and the color red, and Guy Gardner, his scenes were great. They were fantastic. I honestly
Yeah.
would consider him one
And
of
he's
the
gonna be in the show too, by the way. He's gonna have a cameo or something.
Yes, he
So
is.
like
And supposedly he's dropped more F-bombs in the show than in his whole career, he said, cumulatively. So, like, he's going to be in it. I think he'll have lines and dialogue. And, we saw Hal Jordan drop an F-bomb. And that's another pillar of this is that, look, I can't claim to be a huge Green Lantern fan. I've read Green Lantern Corps and Green Lantern up until I have to continue at Brightest Day. That's where I'm at right now. Okay. So I can't sit here and claim to be I don't know it. I mean, it took me even a second to realize, oh, wait, his suit is usually, comes out of the Green Lantern construct. Right.
It's a construct itself. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, whatever. I can get behind that. That's whatever for me. I just feel like it's missing an oomph. And talking about the Green Lantern squirrel, it's not enough. Don't even bring that up if you're not going to show me a construct. If you're not going to show me a quick fight scene with something.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even want to hear it until
there's also a line that stuck out to me in the trailer where Jon Stewart was asking about the aliens and the other Green Lanterns, and Hal says like, "Oh, they're all aliens," and I'm like, "Okay, but the ring translates. It's like a universal translator, so it shouldn't be like a hindrance for you to communicate or be in contact with them because the ring translates. So like,
right.
I don't know. I expected more. I'll say that. I wanted
expected more.
And I hope we'll get more.
No. Yeah, for sure. I don't want to make this sound all doom and gloom because I do still believe in the show, and I do believe you and I will be on the podcast talking about it. And I do think we'll have enthusiasm. I truly do, because HBO hasn't let us down yet, really, with much of anything. Honestly, their hit rate's pretty high when it comes to stuff like this. So I still believe in the show, but I was left with questions as well, which I think is a healthy thing. That's what a trailer is meant to do. It looks like Jon Stewart is new, but we don't, did the ring choose him yet? Because we know that the ring chooses its bearer. So how, is he in training for what? Does he know he's going to get a ring? Like just things that percolate in my mind, right?
It seems like they're playing with this dynamic of like old blood, new blood kind of, mentor-mentee kind of dynamic, with Hal kind of testing John and putting him through the paces in order for him to like get the ring. And I feel like it's going to be one of those shows that we only get to see the suit and the powers and the everything in the last episode, kind of like Daredevil season 1.
No. Daredevil season 1 last episode was good, but don't get me wrong. The whole time I was like, where is he in the suit? And that's one of the things that still pisses me off to this day about the Netflix Daredevil show. I know you live and breathe that show. A lot of people do. I'm in the minority, but I mean, cumulatively, I think we only got like 6 episodes of him in costume, in red suit. Like, well, fact check me on that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, season 2 and 3 are fully in the suit. It was just the season 1 that he was not in the suit until the very last episode.
But season 2, sorry, was that
was
Bullseye?
Punisher, Elektra, the Hand.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah, true. Okay, that's right.
There
And
were
then,
moments where he like hung up the coats and was like, "I'm gonna, not be Daredevil for a while," and he wanted to like take a step back, but then he gets roped back in. But yeah, I
right.
just rewatched season 2, so it's like
You did.
fresh
Yeah,
in
it's fresh
mind.
in your mind. I haven't seen it
Yeah.
since I was a little boy, honestly, at this point. But yeah, the suits are honestly, yes, I'll sit here and complain about the suits that we saw in the trailer, but that's like not my main concern. I also feel for Hal Jordan fans. If you're listening to the podcast and you don't know comics super well yet, a Green Lantern has probably one of the best comic runs in all of comic book history by Jeff Johns. It's
It's
very
iconic.
good. It's just one of the things you got to read, and that's why I read it. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna, I got to get to Invincible still. That's one of the other pillars, but Jeff Johns' Green Lantern is definitely like one of the top of the list items you should check out. And Hal Jordan is the main character. Here he's old. I don't really know if I'm a betting man. If you took me to Vegas right now and you said, is he gonna live or die at the end of the show? I'm gonna say we're actually not gonna see him. I don't think so personally. I think that I think Hal Jordan's going to be short-lived. I didn't necessarily love what I saw from the trailer out of him compared to his comic counterpart, but it's a show. Let's give it 8 to 10 episodes. I'm sure they'll flesh it all out. I'm sure this is
Yeah.
by design. I do trust James Gunn. He's earned that from me, right? A little bit, but I'm underwhelmed from the start, which maybe is a good thing because my expectations aren't high, and they usually are pretty high for this type of stuff.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
I'm rooting for the show to turn it around and really surprise all of us. I hope they
Same.
have a lot of really good surprises in store. But as of right now, I'm just like, yeah, I'm tempering my expectations from based on what we've seen.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And honestly, I'm going to take it a step further. I almost want to say, how dare they? How dare they not give us one construct in a Green Lantern show? I don't know. I don't know. So
It's an interesting marketing strategy. It's getting people talking, that's for sure.
It
So maybe
is.
it's intentional. Maybe
It is.
they do want to like, edge us a little bit and have us talk about it and give them free marketing, which we're doing right now. So,
Which would Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Exhibit A. You and I talking about it right now. Yeah. So I don't know. I honestly, I don't have too much to say, and I don't want to. I wish the show well. I want to see it really take off. I'm sure the whole mystery they're trying to solve is cool, and maybe it will be exactly what we want. Let's see. But yeah, from
Yeah.
the start, I mean, if they're not done with the visuals and the CGI of the constructs, you didn't have to put the trailer out in March. You didn't have to.
I
You
mean,
didn't have to
they
do
for
that.
sure are done with it because the show's coming out very soon. So, like, you
You
can't.
think?
Yeah.
It comes out in August, though. Well, I mean, they've been done
I
shooting
mean,
for a while. Let's not forget
yeah,
that.
but
They've
you,
actually
you
been done
can't.
with this.
You can't really do VFX in like 4 months. It's not enough time. So,
Guess you're right.
we'll see. We'll see.
We'll
We still
see.
have a couple more trailers that are probably gonna drop before the show actually comes out.
Facts.
So hopefully
Yeah,
they
100%.
will be, spoiling us and they will take the feedback about the lack of green in the Green Lanterns show.
Yeah.
And we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, let's see.
I am, I'm very excited about this. People might not know this, but I'm a huge MonsterVerse fan. I love kaijus. I love all things legendary MonsterVerse. So Monarch, Legacy of Monsters Season 2 just started premiering on Apple. And this is one of my favorite shows, honestly. I was so excited for the season to
Wow.
start. And it's, yeah, I'm loving it so far. Episode 1 was fantastic, I have to say. Have you watched it yet?
So I've watched all of season 1, as you know. You and I geeked out about it the whole time.
Yeah.
And I thought season 1 was very good. I didn't think it was like exceptional. I didn't think it was like peak. I just thought it was a very good show, and I recommend people watch it. I haven't seen the first episode of season 2 yet, and in all honesty, I need to repurchase Apple to do this because I stopped watching it and there was just no shows on, but I will rebuy it for this show, certainly. 10 episodes. Yeah, the second comes out in a few days, and Titan X and Kong looks so cool in Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2. I think monster fans like us, we keep saying the same thing, and it's so funny to me. Titan X looks suspiciously close to Biollante, and I know it's not actually Biollante, but this is the closest the MonsterVerse has gotten to that kind of design. Fans like us have been begging Toho for years to let Legendary use Biollante in the MonsterVerse. So I don't think this is anything more than just like a close concept design. I think it's going to be very cool. And, maybe Biollante will appear in Godzilla -0 that comes out in November. We know another kaiju will be in that.
So I'm so excited for that movie.
So excited. So excited. But I wanna eat what's in front of me, and that is Monarch season 2. And we're lucky to get a season 2 of the show, not because season 1 did bad, but I just think that there's a lot of hype around Godzilla and Kong,
Yeah.
and I want to capitalize on that. I want to support the show as much as I can.
Season 1 was successful, but I think its success has maybe given season 2 a huge budget because we were getting spoiled from episode 1. Like there's a lot going on,
Okay.
from episode 1, from the get-go. There's a
Yeah.
lot happening, lots of kaiju action, lots of
Yeah.
monsters,
Yeah.
and it seems like they really upped the ante for this season.
See, that's what I want to
So,
hear. Yeah.
yeah, I'm
That's
excited, and I love, like, for me, the fact that it's like multiple branching, storylines at the same time from the past and the present. I love that. The
so
past
cool.
storyline is so good, with Keiko and the team, and then like
Yeah.
the establishment of Monarch. And I've never been that intrigued about Monarch as a agency before the show, but it's gotten me invested. Like I'm here for it now, and
Let's go.
yeah, they seem to be taking big swings with this one.
Yeah.
Timeline-wise, this takes place before Godzilla King of Monsters, so it's kind of bridging the gaps between the movies because the first one was right after the first Godzilla movie, and this one is
Right.
after Kong, before King of Monsters. So we have Kong on Skull Island with Apex and Monarch there. They're doing a really good job at making it the connective tissue between the movies, and I think it's going to be a very like enjoyable watch if you're gonna do like a rewatch of the MonsterVerse and you get to like watch Godzilla, then season 1, then Kick of Monsters, then season 2, things like that. Like, I'm loving it so far, and
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a huge hit. For me, 10 out of 10, honestly.
Wow. Okay. See, now you got me excited, and it does look like the budget is dialed up
Yeah,
a couple notches with.
considerably.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. Am I in my rights to complain that the show doesn't follow like a linear timeline with the movies and tying into like modern day? Is that a or is it just no? Like
I think because they want to keep the movies, kind of treading new ground with the movies, and the show right now, as it stands, it's not essential viewing if you just want to watch the movies. It's kind of
true.
like Agents of Shield, how it was back then. It's like they're not going to introduce new concepts and explore new realities and things like that outside of the movies. They want to keep the movies leading that charge,
Yeah,
and they're just there to fill in the gaps. And I think that's what's really good about it.
I love that. I think that's a really good way to put it. And I want to watch this. I want to see who Titan X is. I'm kind of excited about that. I love that type of stuff. And we know Space Godzilla is confirmed for the next installment of Godzilla and Kong, so that has me like levels of just hype.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about that. You said, look, they're sticking to the plot, they're sticking to what they know works, what they know will put butts in seat and get people to watch it. Godzilla is just it's a thing where like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And like I think the
Mm-hmm.
MonsterVerse just gives us what we want, which is just like monsters fighting, decent plots around the humans, all of that stuff. It's a good watch. If you haven't watched it, watch it. I will start watching it probably this week and get caught up. So I'm excited. Let's see where it goes. In that same spirit almost. And I'm gonna kind of tie this in here, but you'll see where I'm going with this in a second. But switching to some comic news, we just
Mm-hmm.
got a new look at the Flash suit divined by Gavin Goodry for Ryan North's upcoming run. I know you're a huge Ryan North fan, Honest.
I really am. Yeah.
And honestly, it's perfect. Okay. And I just feel like, I don't know, does anybody else notice the best superhero costumes are always the simplest ones?
It's
Just like,
simple, it's clean, it's iconic. It's like it's exactly what you want out of a Flash suit. Red,
exactly.
yellow, lightning. That's it. You don't need
Yeah.
to overcomplicate it.
Exactly. Clean lightning bolts, classic red, nothing over designed. And that's where I kind of tie it into like the Godzilla show. Like, there's no, look, it's a Godzilla show. Nothing over the top in terms of like what you wouldn't expect. Some good twists and turns. But at the end of the day, you're just waiting for like, it's good. And I feel
Mhm.
like that when I see this new Flash suit, I was like, it just reminds me of something I think fans forget all the time. It's just keep it simple. Keep it elegant. You look at Batman, you look at Spider-Man, you look at Superman, you look at Godzilla. I'll throw him in there again. Right? They don't switch up a lot. And I think
Yeah.
the moment things get over-engineered, they start losing that iconic and pure look. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I think there's cases to be made where you could spice it up, sure, especially around the plot where Thor gets the power of Zeus and Odin, and now he's this new look. Sure, I get that. I appreciate a good concept design when I see one to make someone just OP and like transcend their usual physical boundaries and look. But I think comic book stuff does well when it's just simple and just looks sleek. I don't know. Your thoughts on the costume? Am I hitting the nail on the head?
Fully agree. I think if it's not broke, don't fix it,
Yeah.
And for the Flash, we've seen many iterations of his suits. The best ones that always land and the ones that people hearken to all the time is his classic red and yellow with a very sleek design. It's the Flash. It needs to be very aerodynamic. It doesn't need to be bulky. It just needs to flow and be really, enable him to, as much less friction as possible.
Yeah.
So it hits all those notes, and there's a cool shoe design as well where they kind of like spiced it up in the boots, and I like that as well. A lot of people are into those kind of shoes, the running shoes, and I like the suit. It's very clean. I have nothing negative to say about it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't either. And we know that Cy Spurrier's run got a little crazy with Flash, and then they kind of it was almost a lot. I think Ryan North is going to bring it home. It looks like he is going, back to basics with his team, which I think is exactly what the Flash wants. I think that's exactly what DC was like. Please, just back to basics, back to good. Ryan North, I think, I think we can say he's known for like good comics, almost like family friendly fun. His Fantastic Four run's excellent. His Squirrel Girl, awesome.
I love his Squirrel Girl.
I know you. Yeah, you're one of the biggest Ryan North fans I know. So for him to be doing Flash, I think it makes sense, and he's already proving that he is a good choice with this costume concept. And again, it's nothing flashy. It's not like this huge insane take. It's just what we want. It's just what we want. Don't overdo it when it doesn't need to be overdone. I don't know how many times I need to say this, right? So it excites me that it's just a good suit. It just excites me. One of the things I love about comics, the suit.
Speaking of designs, we've recently gotten a look at the Absolute Scarecrow design from the new Absolute Batman comics, and I really dig this design. I really want to know what you think about it because he looks scary. He looks really scary.
Man. He looks so. Look, Absolute Batman might have the most terrifying villains DC has right now. And yes, the first look of Absolute Scarecrow coming in Absolute Batman 19. This design's insane. It almost, to me, looks like Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta took inspiration from Coraline. That creepy,
I was going to say Coraline
horror vibe. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's such like, I feel like everybody our age has seen that movie. It's just one of the movies that we grew up with, and like we all like, I don't know if it was the marketing or what, but it all did well for us, and we all saw that movie at like the same time. So yes, it looks just like that. And I think the thing about the Absolute universe is that every villain feels overwhelming, and Absolute Scarecrow isn't muscular. He isn't 10 feet tall,
he's
bursting
dialed
with
back.
he's just, it's his look. It just scares me. And every moment I feel like I'm screaming like, Bruce, you can stop. Like, we understand, man. If you just want to leave Goth, like, I get it. And he just keeps going. And Scott Snyder recently said something terrifying in an interview. He said, quote, "We've actually been going easy on Batman so far," end quote.
This is going easy?
Brother, what? If this is the easy version, what's next? If you're telling me Bruce is playing on Recruit right now and he hasn't even tried sampling Veteran yet, this is like, what are we doing? So yes, to answer your question in a very long-winded way, I love the design. I think it is freaky, which is exactly what Scarecrow should be.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Just another great rogues for Absolute Batman, in my opinion. And we'll see.
They're really knocking it out with the designs. I mean, we talked about Poison Ivy last week, and I absolutely love her design. And now Scarecrow again, and I'm like very in love with this design. I love the buttons for eyes. I love the teeth, behind the mask showing a little bit. He looks like a haunted doll, like one of those old-timey, made of like bull wrap sack dolls kind of thing.
Yeah.
It looks very much like that, and I enjoy the design a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. So let's see what Absolute Scarecrow has in store for Bruce. I'm scared for him, but yes, very cool design. I mean, like you said at the start of the episode when you were prefacing what we'll be discussing, DC's been doing a lot of great design work lately. Really
They
good.
really have
We
been.
just obviously spoke about The Flash. We're talking about Absolute Batman. It's just a very exciting thing when comics really hit the nail on the head with a look. Because comics are just, they're so visual. So whenever I get excited about a look, that's when creators are doing something right. And that's what excites me. So
I agree.
very cool. On another note, not sure your enthusiasm level for this, but Marvel announced a new slate of What If one-shots ahead of the series' 50th anniversary. And I think some of the ideas are kind of fun and wild, like what if Cyclops stayed with Madeline Pryor? What if Thor got Spider-Man's symbiote suit? What if Kraven survived his last hunt? I think just having read the old What If comics, I think this is exactly what If should be. Just very chaotic, alternate timelines that let writers explore ideas that could never happen in the main universe. In the old comic line, I think, to me, it just had a lot of creators just killing characters randomly. And I think this looks more calculated. It's just comics being weird. That's what If is. So, I don't know. I want to know, is this the type of story selection and creators behind the announcement that you would want to see explore some of these ideas? Are you going to pick any of this up? What are your thoughts? I don't know.
I'm not the biggest What If fan. I do like the animated show that they did. I like a lot of the old comics that they've done. And I like the idea of just, alternate timelines with different realities and exploring how the Marvel Universe could have unfolded in a certain way. I like it when they take a concept and they just take it really to the extreme. Like, what if magic was the sorcerer supreme? Things like that. I love that issue. That is one of the best What If comics in my opinion when they did that. And so I want to see something like that. I don't want to what if Craven survived his last hunt? That doesn't personally speak to me because I'm not a huge Craven fan. I'm sure his fans would love to see what that would look like.
Sure.
But for me, I'm like, shake it up. If you're gonna do a what if, really shake it up, Give me something completely unexpected. Like, what if the Phoenix didn't get tried at the at the Shi'ar? What if she, got away and she kept going on her rampage? What would the universe look like then? Something like that.
Yeah, it's a very good one. Very good. That's a bold one. Yeah, that's a huge scale.
I want bold ideas. I don't want what if Thor got the symbiote? Like, okay, I mean, it could be fun, but you're doing a what if. There's no boundaries. There's no guardrails. Just go wild.
Just go wild. Just do it. Like I said, the old ones, the only problem I had with some of the old ones was that they would just kill core characters for I think just the what if factor. And it's that's not going to warrant enough attention from me to continue to want to read it. So I think they released a decent amount. I want to say there's 10 one-shots. Will I buy them all? No. But I'm kind of, I probably won't buy that many, to be totally honest, just because my pull list is so big right now. But I don't really know aftermarket value for comics all that well. I can hold a conversation. But for some reason, the What If comics, set after 2012, they have really strong market values. I don't know if you're a collector, maybe this excites you, but I was never super into that, but to each their own. Right.
I think one shots are easy to collect because it's just that. It's just a one shot. You don't need to invest into a whole series. And, over time it might not get reprinted. So there's probably some value in that as well. It's not gonna it's gonna get collected to a trade. It's not gonna be the same. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna probably read a couple of them just to check out what kind of things they're gonna do. But I really want bold ideas. That's what I'm looking for.
Me too. I love that you say that's all I want. So hopefully it causes some buzz. Hopefully people pick them up. I like to see lines like that succeed. Very, very creative. Lets the creatives just do whatever they want to, which I think is good as long as they don't abuse it. So yeah.
Speaking of bold ideas, maybe I'm using bold in not a good way.
Oh boy, what are you about to drop? Oh God.
I mean, Sony apparently did not learn from their mistakes, and they want to reboot the Spider-Man-less villain universe again in live action. They've had a series of duds with Morbius, with Madam Web, with Kraven, Venom 3, and it seems like they did not get the memo that people don't care about those kind of movies. People don't want those movies. And they're like, okay, we're gonna try again. So I'm not excited. I'm scared for what they're gonna do this time around. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Are you a fan of the Sony MMCU?
I did see that. Sony Pictures, the CEO, Tom Rothman, he confirmed that, what you're saying is true. Spider-Man villain universe will be rebooted, quote, after the box office failure of Kraven the Hunter. And I just want to pause there. Okay, Listen, Craven flopping was the breaking point.
Yeah.
Craven flopping was the moment Sony finally realized, this isn't making money. This isn't making profit. This isn't making fans happy. This isn't impressing critics. This isn't getting general audiences that know nothing about comics engaged. No, it wasn't Morbius. It wasn't Madam Web. And both of those had star power behind them.
Yep.
I guess
They're just
Craven
out of
was
touch.
apparently
Out of touch.
yeah.
It's completely executives being out of touch with the market, with what fans want. Nobody wants a Spider-Man-less universe. Nobody
No.
cares about these characters. Like, they're trying so hard to milk this property that they still hold the rights to, because they hold the movie rights to Spider-Man and his characters. But I mean, if you want me to go watch a movie without Spider-Man that is set in the Spider-Man universe, I'm not gonna go see a villain movie. I want to see Silk. Give me, like, give me something from a spider character. Give me Spider-Woman,
I mean,
But who cares about these villains?
no one. Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's, I mean, it's bad when the internet turning It's Morbin Time into a meme explodes more than the movie.
When that happened, they thought this meant people were interested to see the movie, so they released it in theaters again, and it flopped a second time.
I remember that. Oh my gosh, it's too. Look, just give the characters back to Marvel Studios, please. Watching these movies is basically self-harm.
Yeah.
I don't watch them. Like I said a few episodes ago, every Venom movie I've seen, Venom, by the way, not Madam Web, I've seen them on a plane. They just don't make captivating movies. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the real question to me is, first of all, can Sony even recover from this? They've done so much brand damage, and even general audiences know at this point the distinction between a Sony Marvel movie and a Marvel movie by Marvel Studios. I don't know what it'll take to just hand the keys over to Marvel. I don't know, but
Look,
Sony is just the greediest men in suits and women in suits too, but just suits and just money and just, what are we doing? Like,
yeah. Here's the thing: they saw that Venom was successful, semi-successful.
It did.
It wasn't
It
like
was.
it did.
Yeah.
And then they saw the animated movies do well, and they saw that there is value in this brand. They need to exploit it. If I was a Sony executive, I would be like, let's double down on animated movies. We're doing Ghost Spider, we're doing Spider-Punk. Let's double down, make an animated TV show, make something, But it just seems they're so out of touch with what people really want. I mean, like, this is unrelated to comics, but there's a Sony movie that came out last year, and it was the biggest animated movie of the year, which was K-pop Demon Hunters. That was produced by Sony, and they had zero faith in it, that they sold it to Netflix for the cheap, and Netflix made bank with that movie, and it became the biggest sensation in the world.
I still have to see that. I've only heard amazing things about that movie.
Yeah, but like, that just goes to show how Sony is so out of touch with what the market wants, what is good, what is bad. I think it's a fluke that the Spider-Verse movies are so good, and it's no credit to the executives themselves, honestly. It's the creators. They just don't know what people want, and they're just, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, and nothing is sticking, honestly.
I think you're completely right. They're out of touch, and it's exactly why Kevin Feige has a position he does, why James Gunn has a position he does. They're fans. They know what a fan wants to see, but they also possess such a high, remarkable, almost uncanny level of just filmmaking, producing, and just understanding the concept of filmmaking in general and movies, that when you put those two things together, you're going to make a hit. You're going to make fans happy, general audiences happy, critics happy. Sony's like 0 for 4 with all of those, with all of their films.
I don't understand why they wouldn't get somebody like that to do this for the Spider-Verse. Be like, okay, they saw the Spider-Verse was a hit. Let's bring in somebody who knows the Spider-Verse well, who is well-versed in Spider-Man, and give them the keys and make a Miles Morales movie, make a Silk movie. Like, you could do a lot outside of the villains, because those villains do not stand on their own 2 feet aside from Venom.
They don't. And Venom was successessful at the start. I really don't know how the third one did. I think they were all
kept doing
actually
progressively worse. None of them met the highs of the first one.
It's actually disappointing news. It's that they're gonna just keep trying. Basically, my takeaway from this is that Sony's gonna keep attempting this, and I can't sit here and defend it to any, because it does actually hurt, like the Spider-Man IP, if they make an insert Spider-Man villain here, Lizard movie tomorrow. We know we're not gonna see that in Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU.
The thing.
So it's
they're burning through these villains, and then the MCU can't use them because they already people saw them and they didn't like them.
right.
That's the thing. We're not going to see a Craven anytime soon. We're not going to see Morbius anytime soon, and we're definitely not going to see Madam Web anytime soon in the
No,
MCU.
no, we won't. We won't. And doesn't help anybody. Least of all Sony. I mean, they're shooting themselves in the foot as well. So,
Yeah.
it's disappointing, but that's the comic book world.
On a positive note, though, speaking of Sony and Spider-Man properties, we've recently had an interview with the showrunners for Spider Noir that's coming out in May, and they did confirm that they're not it's not outside of the realm of possibility that the show might be getting a season 2.
Hmm.
And they shared some really funny tidbits about Nicolas Cage's approach to the character, and he was saying something like he wants to be a spider who is pretending to be a man. That was his
Spider.
take on the character. It's like
Huh.
after he was bitten, he just became a spider that was pretending to be a man. And
Cool.
that's just
Okay.
like the weirdest kind of Nicolas Cage thing you could go about it,
It is.
honestly.
It's so him. It's Nicolas Cage
It's
is
so him.
back. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
back. So interesting. Look, I mean, I haven't even seen it yet, but I actually have a lot of faith in the project, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
So if they want to land a season 2, I'm sure this is a case where they're going to wait and see how season 1 does.
And it seems
for
like
sure.
the season 1 is leaving that kind of possibility open at the end there. It's not like open and shut case.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I would love a season 2 if the show from the trailer looked really good. And that's a trailer
Yeah.
done right. That is a trailer. Speaking of, we were talking about lanterns. That is a trailer they did really well with.
Really
And
well. I mean, they even gave us, at the end, Spider-Man Noir just like flipping through the buildings and stuff, and it's like,
yep.
wow, never would have thought that, but here it is. This is cool. Like they gave us a lot. So, I agree. That is a trailer done right. I like to see it.
And a couple more, interesting tidbits from that interview that we learned was basically they shot it natively in black and white and then
Mm.
digitally colorized it after the fact.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's actually black and white. They filmed it that way. It's the way that it is. And then the colors are just digitally, like they came up with them on their own, kind of imagining what an old timey noir world would look like in color.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
so the technology we have that is really
Right?
I mean, that is like true to the craft how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
That is
And like
no
all the
joke.
directors that they got for the show were all big noir fans. They were all, they wanted to tackle a noir story, and so I'm excited. It seems like there's a lot of love and passion in the project, so I'm here for it.
That's pretty sick. That is a cool tidbit of information. Like I said, I can't look you in the eyes and tell you I'm going to watch this in black and white. I'm probably gonna be an uncultured person and watch it in color. But
That's the most Gen Z thing you've ever said.
I know, isn't it? It so is. I'm sorry, but I'm probably gonna do that. But I will just have to turn it on and watch it. I'll have to commit to one episode in the middle of the series. I'll commit to one. I'll watch it black and white. Just see it and just because it's a cool experience. I really do
Yeah.
appreciate what they did with that. So that's cool. What else did you find out?
That's pretty much it. They were
Yeah.
just doing an interview talking about what the show was making, what the making of the show was like and the process, and talking about Nicolas Cage. I've gotten it felt like a very heartwarming story that they were telling with the show, and I'm very excited to see where they take it, honestly.
Very cool. Moving on, we have Iron Fist teased for Daredevil season 3 as a return with Jessica Jones, potentially with, Mike Coulter, who plays Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it seems actually pretty credible. We know he's teased some stuff before, putting a picture of Iron Fist on his story,
Yeah.
basically
He was
almost
training too.
training. He's teetering the lines in these interviews as like, I am going to come back. And you and I
Yeah.
would love to see that. We really would. I would be pretty happy if we got that because if they tease him, will he get his own project? Marvel, I think a Heroes for Hire show would be really cool.
Yes, please,
know?
a Heroes for Hire. Give me like Colleen, Misty, Luke, and Danny. That would be like an amazing show. The ensemble is right there. The
Right
ground
there.
foundation
They're
is there.
already. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like they're
yeah.
right there. So Finn Jones is actually after season 2. Season 1, no, but after season 2, he's actually my favorite one out of all of them, more than Luke Cage, more than Jessica Jones, more than Colleen Wing. Besides Daredevil, he's actually my favorite. I think they could do a lot with him that's just really awesome. I'm very excited about that. I'm not going to
Me
get my
too.
hopes up in case it doesn't happen, but I am just taking note. Like, oh, we got this, we got that, we're
Listen,
seeing this.
we had the exact same set of rumors about Jessica Jones a couple years ago, and they turned out to be true.
Yeah,
They've been cooking this up for a very long time. So I'm
yeah.
taking this with a very small grain of salt, but I'm fully buying into the hype train. I'm like, give me Finn Jones back, give
That's
me
how I
Mike
would put it.
Coulter. So
That's how
I'm
I
I'm
would put
really
it. I'm buying
excited.
into it. Yeah, I'm buying
Me
into the
too.
hype.
Me too.
I
And
am. And
like we've seen these rumors pop up a lot before, and 7 times out of 10, I would say they do turn out to be true. I'm keeping my hopes up. I'm excited for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, and hopefully we'll get to see some foundation being laid in with references or something referring to Danny Rand. But speaking of rumors, and this is a big
mm,
one. This is a very big one. Charles Murphy, who is known for Murphy's Multiverse, and he's a very big and prominent leaker insider, has basically confirmed that the MCU's Jean Grey will be played by Sadie Sink, debuting in Brand New Day. What are your
ooh.
thoughts?
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna say at this point, I collectively believe from all of the intelligence that's been gathered, from all of the data that's been thrown around and that we've seen, we sit here and say, I don't think my hopes are up for Iron Fist. Like, let's just see how it is. My hopes are actually up for Sadie Sink playing Jean Grey. Like, I am at this point, like, kind of gung ho for it, and I'm like,
Me
I
too.
believe this.
Yeah.
At
I
this
think
point,
it's way more believable than her playing Rachel, honestly. Like her playing Rachel Summers, I was
I
a
wouldn't
bit
even want
iffy on
that.
that rumor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But her
I,
playing Jean Grey makes sense. I love that they're using their biggest property to introduce the X-Men to the new generation.
yep.
And, you know, Jean is a very good first mutant to introduce into the proper X-Men member to introduce
Oh
into the
yeah.
MCU.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so much I love about it. Even, we're getting reports that Punisher enters the fray because he's like her protector slash
Protecting her.
not
Yep.
yeah, not father figure, but like no one's touching this girl. Like, and we know Punisher has a soft side for stuff like this,
Yeah.
collective. So like, he's gonna mean a lot to her. If they play that angle, I really want to sit here and say, and I think I can, that I think this has potential to be one of the biggest MCU movies. I
Me
really
too.
do. I mean, come on. You have Spider-Man, first of all. Of course, it's his headline movie. You have Punisher. You have Hulk. You have a
Yeah.
good string of villains. Sure, it's going to be more of like a dark street hero movie. And then you enter Jean Grey. Then you enter
Yep.
one of the biggest Marvel characters from the mutants. I mean, come on. I really feel it.
And I will
Oh,
say, like, casting somebody as young as Sadie Sink and locking her in for like 10 years, that tells me that they're going for an OG5, starting with the X-Men, and they're
ooh,
all gonna be young, and we're gonna, spend the next decade watching them grow into full-fledged heroes, and that really excites me. That's what I
that's
wanted from the X-Men.
That's oh, I love that you just said that. That's what the X-Men is. The
Yeah.
X-Men is just, starting, young and then growing and flourishing into this ensemble cast and this team that's this team of heroes. So yes, if they're going to bleed it with Jean, huge. Sadie Sink is probably one of the most in-demand actresses
Mhm.
right now. I mean, she smoked everybody in season 5 of
Yeah.
Stranger Things in terms of acting. Not even close. Like every time she was on, she almost
She stole the
commanded
scene.
respect. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she's an actress. Like she's
Yep.
A-level actress, and you can put her in a movie like The Whale, and you can put her in a movie like Stranger Things, right? A show, and you can put
Mhm.
her in a Spider-Man film. I at this point am sold on the idea of her being Jean. I'm going to say it. I'm going to sound like a spoiled little brat fan. I'm going to be a little disappointed if it's not, okay? But I'll take what I can get. I'm happy she's in it. I don't know if that's crossing a line, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I fully believe she is at this point, and I will, I'll eat my words if she's not, but I'm fully
Same.
buying into the fact that she is, and I'm going into that to the July believing that, and I will see the movie, and I'm so excited for it now. Come on, you mean X-Men? Like I feel like
Yeah.
in my brain immediately plays the X-Men 97 theme, whatever
Oh,
whatever that
100%.
happens.
My
So
goodness.
I'm looking
And
forward to it, and
me too.
all
My
good
my
things to
lasting
come.
question for you, my lasting question for you on that is, I want to see her at the red carpet premiere. I want to see Sadie Sink doing the tours with Holland, Zendaya, with
Yeah.
Bernthal, with all of those people. But I do not want her in any bit of the trailer. Leave me wanting to know what she's doing
Hmm.
in this movie until I am in the theater watching her come on screen for the first time.
And we hear
That's
that
how I feel.
music here.
Something. That's what I need. That's what
Yeah.
I need. Don't show me her in the trailer. Don't do anything. just like because I'm wanting right now. I'm a wanting fan. So I don't. You agree with that? Is that what you would, or would you want to see her in the trailer? There's definitely hype around
I'm
that. I
happy
mean,
either way. I mean, I'm
yeah,
just
fair
happy we're
enough.
getting mutants again. I'm just, so
I
excited for
know.
that. We've been getting sprinklings here and there with, Ms. Marvel, but it's nothing really like of the OG X-Men that we know and love. So this is getting me
Right.
really hyped up.
Right. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. So that's my lasting thought for the episode. Unless you have anything, let's wrap it up here, buddy. What do you say?
I'm good to go.
Awesome.
Thank you everyone for being here with us today. Well, this was short and sweet. We had a lot to talk about, and I feel like we got all of our thoughts out there. So thank you for listening and tuning in with us. Please, if you're streaming this, make sure to leave us a review, give us a thumbs up, let us know how we're doing. It really helps us improve and give you the better show that you deserve. And if you're, an old fan, thank you always for being here with us, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good one out there.